Did anyone get excited because they thought their 20s was going to be like a season of The Hills? Because mine was not.
Stepping into the club now. I know you notice me. Wanna be your man.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, A Fashionable Mess, coming at you with another video. So for today's video, I'm going to be discussing what I learned from my 20s. And I'm pretty sure if 20-year-old Lydia had seen this video, it would have helped her a lot in life. Alright y'all, before I continue with this list, we've been through some videos together. I think it's time for us to become friends, so I need you to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. Being popular, having a bunch of friends in high school, it honestly does not even matter, because when you grow up, especially like when you enter like the career you want to pursue, none of the people from high school matters. It's not like you can put on your resume that you were, most popular in high school or that you won prom queen. Like, employers don't give a shit. And while we're on the topic of schooling, that brings me to my second lesson that I learned. I learned this one when I was in college. You actually need to go to class. Like, you need to go to class. If you sign up for a morning class, that is on you. Like, you need to have the dedication to actually wake up and go to that class and show up on time. Just like if you have a night class, which while I was in college for a bit, I did work full time, so I did take night classes. You need to hold yourself accountable and show up for the night classes. It doesn't matter how tired you are. Do not blow off going to class, because believe me, it will catch up to you. While we're on the topic of school, lesson number 3, student loans really suck. I was fortunate enough that for a couple years of college, I actually was on a scholarship, so a lot of my my tuition was basically paid for. But at some point, when you are just in school for a very long time, they're like, you know what, bitch, you need to pay for school on your own. So that's when I had to take out a couple student loans. I'm still paying them to this day. But yeah, make sure that you are, just because you get student loan money, whether it be from your scholarship, don't just like, I don't know if back in the day when I was in school, they would give you money on like a card and you can use that for anything. Of course, my dumb ass thought that you could just use that for shopping and shit. No, you're supposed to use that for books. So just be smart with that money. If possible, try not to take out a lot of student loans. And if you do happen to take out student loans, just remember you're gonna have to repay them. So be conscious with your money. By the way, have y'all seen these new Starbucks mermaid cups? Like, she is snatched. Summer body goals. The habit of starting to save money when you're as young as you're able to do that is so important. I know, like, I can be a pretty impulsive shopper. I love I love buying shit. I love buying expensive shit, but that's not always the smartest thing to do. So yeah, if I could tell my younger self anything, it would be save money. Like, I know it's tempting. You want a lot of nice things. You want to, have this certain image, but saving money is going to be so much more valuable for you in the long run than blowing all your money on a purse or, a pair of shoes that makes you happy at the moment. I guess we might as well just go into like financial things I would tell myself at a younger age. Debt is not okay. It's not okay. I feel like a lot of people just, they think that just having debt is normal. But it's not, because it's like you're constantly working to pay off something. Like, you don't have any financial freedom. So when I was in my early 20s, I was not smart about credit cards. I just saw it as free money, and I could just, you know, do whatever I want. I could use that to just buy whatever I want. But as my parents told me, when you know, purchase something with a credit card, you have to be able to pay it off. And at that point, I didn't really care. I always knew, you know, oh, you know, I'll just pay it off later. It's fine, blah, blah, but it's not fine. So I found myself in very, very heavy debt when I was in my early 20s. It got to the point where I was, you know, up to my eyeballs in this debt, and I didn't know what to do. It can accumulate so fast. Got to the point where I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know how I had accumulated all of this, and I didn't know what to do. So the first thing I knew, what I needed to do was to stop spending. So I worked, you know, it took me a few years, but I worked through that, and I was able to pay everything off, and that was definitely a learning lesson for me. Credit cards are not just like free money for you to spend. You actually have to be smart with them. The minute you know, decide to use one to purchase something, make sure that you're able to pay it off. It can just honestly be a snowball effect. And also, like, store credit cards are not good. I don't care what anyone says. But yeah, that can be like a whole nother video on. Another lesson learned is that your credit score is everything. It's almost as important as your social security number. It's not something to just, you know, joke around, because at some point in your future, you want to make large purchases such as a home, or perhaps you know, want to get a new car, and the first thing that they're going to do is check your credit score. So definitely, like, protect that, like, try and keep it as excellent as possible, because that's really going to affect your life in the future. Yeah, so this next lesson that I learned was in the love department, and that's with dating older guys. In my 20s, I was always fascinated with that, because, you know, I thought that an older guy can provide you a life that you may not be able to afford for yourself. But honestly, like, that's not how to do it at all. If you want nice things, you should not depend on somebody else to get them for you. You need to, you know, work hard, save up, and then get them yourself. And you may learn while you're saving up to get what you want that you don't even freaking want it no more. While it is nice for a guy to buy you stuff, that always comes with a price. And that's something I definitely learned in my 20s. You know, dating older guys is not what it seems. Definitely not. Older men do come with a lot of baggage. And, you know, honestly, like, you're just at very different places in life. Yes, you're thinking it's fun. They can take you places, you know, literally. They can buy you stuff that maybe you can't afford. But honestly, like, it's not really worth it. I'm not saying that everybody in, you know, age gap relationships, like, their man has baggage or whatever. I'm just saying that, like, it's not what it seems. Another lesson, this one's pretty important. Your work history matters. Your employment longevity, it matters. So I definitely learned in my 20s, like, how to rewrite my resume to make it stronger. Because as you're, you know, starting to apply for jobs, trying to figure out your career, all you have between you and the employer you potentially want to work for is that piece of paper with your resume. So yeah, like, employment and work history matters. I know you're thinking, like, oh, I just have this part-time job, like, who cares? Nobody's gonna look at that. But people are going to look at that, especially if that's all you have on your resume. They're going to look to see, you know, how things ended there, how long you were there for. Staying at a place for, you know, quite some time shows that you're a dedicated employee. It shows longevity with the company. So stuff like that's actually important. You know, I know it's tempting to just, you know, when you're at a part-time job, just be like, F this place and just walk out. But in the future, that's potentially going to harm you. So always make sure that, you know, you're ending places on good terms. I mean, who knows? You could use that past employer or supervisor there as a reference. But if you just act on emotion and walk out of your job one day, you know, that's someone who could have gave you a good reference. I think the most important lesson that I learned, and one today that I'm still like, as I'm getting older, like continuing to realize like is so important, and that's to listen to your parents or listen to your older siblings. Like, your family only wants what's best for you. They are honestly the only people who have your back. And I mean, I always, anytime I get to talk to my parents, I just thank them. I thank them for all the advice they gave me. Of course, you know, when you're in your 20s, you don't really care. You think you know everything. You don't want to hear what your parents have to say, but there's so many times that I've just kind of looked back and I was like, damn, my mom was right. So it's all out of love. So take all of that with a grain of salt, listen to it. Because like I said, your family only wants what's best for you. And last but not least, stay positive. It's just, you know, every decade in your life is just a point that you're trying to work through. And the one thing that you can do is stay positive, because honestly, like, negativity will create a downward spiral. There's several times where I've dealt with times that I was very unhappy and just continuing to be negative just caused things to get worse. Even if you have to fake a smile and just, you know, tell yourself everything's okay, I'm going to be fine, this is fine. Even just something like that can turn everything completely around. You're going to go through a lot of shit, but you just have to keep going. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. If a situation seems horrible, trust me, like, once you get through it, you'll feel so much better. There's so many things now that I'm in my 30s, I look back on that made me so upset when I was in my 20s, and I was like, why did I give that so much of my emotion and energy? Like, that was stupid. Well, guys, I hope that list was helpful for you guys. It's just a few lessons. I mean, there's so much more things I learned, but if I, you know, sat here and talked about that, this video would be like 3 freaking hours long. It would be super long. But that was just a few things that I learned. What about you guys? Those of you who are in your 20s, did that even help you at all? Have you experienced any of these? Those of you who are almost out of your 20s or you're out of it completely, what lessons did you learn that perhaps are left off the list? Leave me a comment below. I would love to read about it. All right, guys, I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye.